And good afternoon, and welcome to today's Ask a Lawyer on Facebook Live. I'm attorney Michael Bender.
And I'm attorney Allison Tilton, and we are the Gray Legal Group.
Well, the contents of this video is for general information purposes only. Nothing should be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information is not intended to create, and receipt or viewing does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. Today's questions, we're going to deal with the issue of credit card debt. We see it a lot in divorce cases. Basically, we've all got it. What do we do with it? First question here is a bankruptcy question, bankruptcy-related question with regards to divorce. Do I still have to pay for joint credit cards if I filed for bankruptcy? After our divorce was filed, I went through bankruptcy and I got rid of all my credit card debt. My husband now says that even though I filed bankruptcy, he is asking the court to make me pay for half of our joint credit card debt. Can he make me do that? One thing you've got to understand here is that even if you are filing for bankruptcy, the only obligation that you're getting rid of is your personal obligation to that credit card company. Basically, bankruptcy will allow you to get rid of third-party creditors, but if you have a joint obligation, you're still going to be responsible, but not necessarily to that third party. You're going to be responsible to the other person that you have that joint credit card with. So basically here, what you've got is community credit card debt that, is according to Visa, American Express, Discover, whatever else is out there, you no longer have to pay them directly. They can't actually sue you directly to get the money. But they can still go after your spouse, and because it is a community debt, you're still going to have that responsibility in the divorce case. Not necessarily the court can't say pay the credit card directly, but they're going to hold you responsible, whether it's through some type of equalization or a direct payment to your spouse. Anything to add to that?
The only additions I can make are going to make this very, very, very complicated, and I apologize for that. And some of what my thoughts are dealing with what was the award of the credit card debt in the judgment. If the credit card debt was awarded to you solely, and then you discharge that debt, they're still going to go after your spouse because they don't care that it was awarded to you, and then your spouse is going to go after you. If the credit card debt was awarded equally, then it's the same thing, that your spouse can still go after you. If the credit card debt, though, wasn't awarded to you and it was awarded to your spouse, and then you discharge that debt to the credit card company, your spouse can't go after you for that portion of the debt because it was awarded to your spouse in the judgment. So it complicates the issue, but it is really important to understand what the award of the debt was in the first place.
It's actually a very good clarification there.
All right, so the second question we've got today is, can I get a credit card before our divorce is finalized? I'm in the process of a divorce and I want to get a new credit card to lower the interest rate. If I do this, is my wife still responsible for one half of the debt I transfer? If I make new charges, can she be made to pay one half too? As to kind of the overall question here, and is can you get a credit card before your divorce is finalized? I feel like I always make answers very complicated. There are what are called the automatic temporary restraining orders. They're called ATROs for short. And what those ATROs say in a nutshell is everything has to stay status quo. So with regards to opening another credit card to transfer your current credit card, you can't do that unless you have the authorization of your spouse to do that. And you get that authorization by getting some written authorization, send a text message, send an email. Just make sure that your spouse is okay with you doing that. I would assume that most spouses would be fine with that because it's going to ultimately lower the interest rate. It's going to lower the total amount of money that's due. And your spouse would still be responsible for one half of the community property debt that was transferred. If you make new charges post-separation on a credit card, those are not community property. Those are separate property charges. Your spouse is not going to be responsible for any debts that you accrue post-separation.
I think one quick clarification here, when you're
Yes.
talking about the ATROs, the automatic temporary restraining orders that go into effect, we like to make things complicated here. If you want to go get a new credit card on your own, that's perfectly fine, but it's not. It's the transferring or changing the characterization or obligation on that community debt that's the issue. But if you want to go out and get a new credit card, keep your finances separate, that's your separate property, you can absolutely go ahead and do that.
Absolutely. I think that about wraps up the questions that we've got for today.
Well, thanks for joining us on Ask a Lawyer. Join us each week as we discuss family law issues that are important to our community. If you have a legal question or topic you'd like us to address, please go to thegreatlegalgroup.com and click on Ask a Lawyer. We'll see you next week.